Not often do we see a tech company like Karat come into existence. They're already partnering with the biggest creators like Mr. Beast, ZHC, and Ludwig, and have access to the biggest influencers of our time. Karat is a fairly new startup, but it's the next big thing in the creator economy. And if they play their cards right, every new creator will know of Karat's name before they post a piece of content. Its mission is ambitious. They want to empower the second renaissance, a blossoming of the intellectual and creative energy across the internet. But what does that mean? This might be the first time you're hearing about Karat, and that's completely normal. I've been keeping an eye out on Karat for a little bit over a year now, and in this video, I'm going to tell you everything I learned about this startup, what I think they're building, and why I believe Karat is so uniquely positioned to shape the future of the creator economy. In order to understand the world that Karat is trying to build, we first have to examine how the creator economy came to be. While the concept of the creator economy was thrown around as early as 1997, it wasn't until the late 2000s that it became a reality. You see, in order for a creator economy to exist, there needed to be a way to distribute content, but also monetize it. When YouTube first launched as a dating site in 2005, nobody could have predicted it to become the entertainment behemoth that it is today. I'm part of the generation that practically grew up with YouTube. And let me tell you, old YouTube was phenomenal. All the biggest creators were fun and relatable, often filming skits and rants in their bedrooms. It shaped lunch table talks at school and the culture that I grew up with from the ground up. And it was an unspoken thing, but everybody knew these videos were just passion projects for people. These social media platforms never started off as money-making machines. And as far as I could remember, the Fred movie, which was god-awful, was the only thing close to a YouTuber trying to branch out into bigger projects. And while it may have flopped, it was a glimpse into how popularity on a site like YouTube could open doors to other things. As YouTube and other platforms began to grow, gaining more users and creators alike, it passed an inflection point that businesses simply could not ignore. Instead of traditional marketing strategies that tried to appeal to the masses on large billboards or TV ads, companies were starting to realize how effective it was to partner with influencers who could directly endorse a product to their audience. So how does this affect the platform today? Broadly put, the shift towards monetization led to two main consequences. First, the quality of the videos improved. As more people saw YouTube as a legitimate place to make money, more content was created. And since creators could now get paid for their videos, they were able to use YouTube to make a living. This meant YouTube went from being a platform where people would post skits they filmed in their bedrooms to being the mecca of content filled with videos carefully crafted by full-time artists who wanted to maximize entertainment value. These extra funds also allowed channels to buy better equipment and bring in people to help them increase the production value of their videos. Second, we saw an increase in the breadth of the type of videos shown on the platform. As YouTube became more and more familiar, everyday people started sharing parts of their lives, no matter how small or grand. Here's an article on The Atlantic describing how YouTube brings in more video than the three biggest US networks have created over the past 60 years. Just let that sink in. For the past 60 years. And you know what the crazier part is? That article was written 12 years ago in 2011. Today, the creator space seems pretty remarkable. Anyone with an interesting enough story can share their message with millions of people across the world. And what do you need to start? Pretty much just a phone to record and some basic editing skills. And if you don't know where to begin, well, there are literally YouTube videos to help you with that. So to piece this all together, the growth of the creator economy now means that content creators are able to grow their brands by monetizing videos, getting ad sponsorships, selling merchandise, creating beverage lines, holding charity sporting events, you name it. They're basically businesses. Right? Well, not exactly, and that's where Karat steps in. While the average person who watches YouTube may have some understanding of the gross wealth accumulated by content creators online, this is still a foreign concept to most banks.
You walk into a bank as a creator, hey, you're CEO of a media business, but banks don't see you that way. They're looking at you and saying, well, you don't have a ton of credit history, you don't have business history, you're not a W-2 employee working for another company, how am I possibly supposed to trust you?
This really makes no sense. But banks are really slow to move, and to them, it's not worth it to focus their attention on a small budding population of content creators. To tackle this problem, Eric Wei and Will Kim founded Karat, a fintech startup that provides creators with business cards based on their social media metrics and a link to their bank account through Plaid. At first, this sounds like something out of a Black Mirror episode, but trust me, it makes sense. These guys are making financial models specifically catered towards creators so that they could better underwrite business loans and credit limits to their customers. The broad vision is to build a bank with a full set of financial products that are catered towards content creators so that YouTubers, Twitch streamers, or other influencers can continue to create their content without stretching themselves too thin worrying about the business aspect of things. Basically, what Karat is trying to say is content creators should just create content and they'll take care of the business side. This seems like a pretty obvious thing to do. So why does Karat hold such a big advantage? To answer that, we have to look at the founders and the community that they've built. To start off, Eric and Will are both insane. They both went to the best universities in the country, started their careers in the most prestigious companies, and have been part of exclusive groups like the Forbes 30 Under 30 list. The point is, these guys are absolute powerhouses. Eric started off as a consultant at McKinsey and then transitioned into a product manager at Instagram and Facebook. He's the one that drives the product and is the more outward-facing co-founder of the two. He's recently been blowing up on the Karat Financial podcast, where he brings on influencers in the Karat community. And by the way, if you've come this far into the video, I'd recommend you go check out their Instagram page at TryKarat and let them know how you found out about them through this video. Will, on the other hand, started his career as a VC investor at Lucky Capital. Will seems to focus more on building the financial models and the auditing tools necessary for Karat to operate as a fintech business. Their complementary skills provide a solid foundation for a really strong company that not only needs to provide financial convenience, but also requires an expert understanding of the creator space. Up to date, they've received recognition from Y Combinator and raised around $45.6 million from venture capital investors and creators alike. Now, these founders are incredibly impressive, but what sticks out to me the most is how deeply confident they are in their mission. Take a look at this clip of Eric.
Many of you are familiar with the first Renaissance, which was a blossoming of intellectual and creative energy. And the thinking is there's going to be another, because when you've made it easier than ever for people to create content and share with each other, there's going to be a moment where at a certain point, there's not going to be like a singularity moment where, boom, there's going to be another inflection point in terms of humanity benefiting from everyone sharing and learning amongst themselves. And so in a way, the mission of companies like Patreon and ourselves is to empower the creators and help make that happen.
They're on the first rung of the ladder, and they started off with their Black Karat card, which is probably the most exclusive credit card in the world at the moment. This provides creators a credit limit to spend their money on their content, and also gives creators the convenience to easily write off business expenses. When creators use the credit card, Karat gets a small bite of each transaction. These fees are called interchange fees merchants pay when a credit card is used, and this provides Karat with some revenue. However, they rely on a cross-selling business strategy to make profit. And this is the point why I think they're so extremely exciting. They virtually have no real competitors in the market, so they can try and make more money if they wanted to. But before they do, they want to create real value, and the humility to not chase short-term cash, but to build the infrastructure and relationships for delayed profits is really interesting to see. If you look for Karat Black Card on YouTube, you'll see a bunch of unboxing and review videos. So for some reason, all these creators seem to have the card, but chances are, you as a viewer have never heard of them. And for good reason. You see, Karat doesn't spend much money on marketing. In fact, they're so confident that they can provide a value add to their customers that they rely on a word of mouth to spread awareness. In doing so, they bring all different types of creators under their brand and cultivate a strong sense of community. Their biggest strength lies in their creator network, and it's pretty clear to see that Karat puts their content creators first. Karat provides exclusive access to events like casino nights, as well as pickleball tourneys where creators can mingle off camera. They also recently launched Shark Tank for Creators, where a panel of influencers invest in budding startup ideas that may be a good fit for them and their audience. Karat goes the extra mile to organize all these events because they realize how big of a role trust plays in the success of their business. They want to be the patrons of the next renaissance, and in order to do so, they need to build long-lasting relationships with today's creators and develop the infrastructure to build trust with the creators of tomorrow. This is a very technical business that provides financial access to creators, but at the end of the day, it's a human business that empowers artists to create the best content that they can. Competitors in the next 5 to 10 years may be able to replicate the technical services Karat has to offer, but strong relationships are hard to scale or even copy, and Karat will have an upper hand on competition as long as its customers trust them. In the next 10 years, I see Karat becoming a one-stop shop for creators looking to expand their businesses. So to recap, Karat has a solid growing base of creators under its umbrella and makes some money off of the interchange fees whenever creators use the Karat card. The next phase for Karat is to start building out alternative services that creators need, and this is where they plan to provide more value and make money to turn the business profitable. In this final part of the video, I'll be laying out some predictions I have for the future of the creator economy, as well as some ways that Karat may position itself for the future. All right, let's get into some of the predictions. My first prediction is that creator audiences will become increasingly global.
자막, 서브타이틀의 장벽도 아니죠. 한 1인치 정도 되는 그 장벽을 뛰어넘으면 여러분들이 훨씬 더 많은 영화를 즐길 수 있습니다.
Once you overcome the 1-inch tall barrier of subtitles, you will be introduced to so many more amazing films.
Mr. Beast recently started a Spanish channel called Mr. Beast en Español, where he hires a third party to dub his videos so that Spanish-speaking audiences can fully appreciate his content. The channel has a lot of traction with over 20 million subscribers, and this allows Mr. Beast to expand his audience. Not every channel has the means to research or hire a robust third-party dubbing service, and so Karat can fill this hole and develop accessible dubbing or subbing services for its cardholders. Second, as I mentioned earlier in this video, there's just so much content being uploaded every day, and there's no sign of it slowing down. As platforms become more saturated, it becomes marginally harder every year to stand out. I predict that as platforms become increasingly saturated, it will become as important as ever for creators to have a good pulse on the algorithm so that they can push out their content to their audience. Because they have access to so many creators, they're in a unique position to analyze how viral content spreads across different platforms. Perhaps they can build out tools to help creators better navigate the algorithm. This may look like suggestive tools that highlight recent trends, or tools that predict if a piece of content will get picked up by the algorithm or not. My third prediction falls into a similar line of thought. As the quality of content online continues to improve, it becomes harder and harder for budding content creators to stand out. Recently, Anthony Padilla invested nearly $1 million into Caroline Caledonis, a new and up-and-coming content creator. Rhett and Link also financially back creators like Daniel Thrasher and help them along their creator journey. Karat is already aiming to be a bank by issuing business credit cards. Who says they can't branch out to become the equivalent of a venture capital firm for creators? Finally, my last prediction is that we will continue to see content creators work together in groups. Whether this be in creator houses or just amongst a group of people who like to film together, having content from multiple different perspectives seems to be an entertaining and effective way to captivate audiences. Creators can reach out to more people because they cross-pollinate followers, and viewers can find it more entertaining by feeling like they're part of the friend group. Some of my favorite channels are when content creators in the same sector come together and collaborate. Karat currently hosts a podcast with co-founder Eric and runs a Shark Tank for Creators show. Who knows what they'll branch out into next, but it would be really, really cool to see an entity like Karat bring together some of our favorite creators and put them on the same show. Thanks for watching. That's it for me today. What you think of my predictions? Let me know in the comments below. See ya.